Record. Awesome. Thanks for hopping on, guys. I know these meetings have been kind of few and far between, but I'm super excited to have one tonight and to hear from guest speaker Jaime to share her top tips on how she's built her business on social media as well. So as I was saying earlier, I hope you have pen and paper and just kind of come with an open mind and just act like you don't know what you're doing with coaching and kind of take what she has to say and her story and her inspiration and be able to apply it to your business. The last thing I want you to do is just to be here and just to listen and have an aha moment. But if you don't get off this call and go implement that aha moment, then it does nothing to motivate your business or move your business forward. So I'm going to introduce Jaime. She is a newlywed. Jaime and I went to high school together in Michigan in Grand Rapids. She is married to one of our close family friends who I knew growing up and also went to high school. So do you guys call each other high school sweethearts, Jaime?
No, we weren't dating.
Okay, I didn't think so. I can't remember. She is a Michigan State grad, and she is very proud of that, as she should be. She also has her bachelor's in an exercise science field. She teaches classes. She teaches turbo kick. She is a 4-star diamond in her first business center. She's a 2-star diamond in her second business center, which is so awesome. I didn't know that, which is super cool. And she's a Success Club legend. She is a stay-at-home fur mom to Max, who's a German Shepherd, and he's super cute. And I watched him grow up since she's had him in his big fluffy ears. Her and Steve have really teamed together to do this business together, and I love that she incorporates him as much as she does into her business, and it's their business. And they've done an amazing job, and they've built an amazing life at such a young age. And she is really setting herself and her family and everyone up for an awesome success. So without further ado, Jaime, go ahead and take it away. I'm going to mute everyone else, so then Jaime, you can kind of unmute yourself.
Hello. Hi. Okay, so I don't know why this says Samantha Glonick. That's my sister, and she always uses my computer, and I can never change it. So that's not really my name. So I signed up, I think, 2 days after Brittany, and just like she had, I kind of put off coaching for a while. So after I graduated from Michigan State, I was a turbo kick instructor. I was a gym manager at a Snap Fitness in Grand Rapids. I was a health coach for Aquinas College and Goodwill Industries, and I was also a NASM personal trainer. So I literally really didn't even know where I was supposed to be every single day, and I was just I have to wake up and look at my planner and be like, where am I supposed to be today? And it was really stressful, but it's what I did. I loved it for a while. And so it took me about 6 months to finally sign up after talking to Chelsea and Rob, and I've never looked back since. Definitely my only regret was that I didn't start sooner, but I think everything really does happen for a reason. And when I was ready to start, it was definitely the best time. So yes, I totally have a background like Brittany's, exercise science. So I've always loved helping people, loved working out, definitely want to do something in this field. So when Chelsea and Rob, my coaches, when they told me, you're basically already doing what a coach does, I was just like, nah, I'm good. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. And, I could have made time. Those were just excuses at the time. So it's kind of nice to have coaches now who have those excuses, and I can say, I know how you feel. And my only regret was that I didn't start sooner. So then I added Beachbody to my plate in March of 2013 and kind of started just really excited to be a part of a team again. I missed, intramurals and high school sports, just that team aspect. So I told Chelsea and Rob, I'm like, just so you guys know, I love my corporate job with wellness. I never can do this full time. I want you guys to know, please don't, say that. And they're like, okay, that's fine. And then, a while later, I'm like, okay, let's do this full time. They just started laughing. They're like, yeah, we told you so. So obviously I wasn't able to just leave all those jobs at once. That was a lot of different incomes coming in. So one by one, I kind of whittled them down. I went down to fitness assistant at Snap Fitness. That was a big thing of my hours. Left Goodwill, then I left Aquinas, and then I was kind of just training on the side, teaching group fitness and doing Beachbody. And then I kind of realized I wasn't really in it to want to personal train anymore. And right now, 3 years later, I'm full-time Beachbody, and I teach a group fitness class, which is 30 minutes of turbo, 30 minutes of strength training in East Grand Rapids, and it's in the studio that I was employed through as a health coach. So it's literally my ideal space, very intimate. A lot of my coaches come to my classes. A lot of potential coaches come to my classes, which is pretty cool. But it's what I want. And it's crazy because, yes, I don't have any human babies yet, but being able to grow Max, our puppy, and be home with him, like German Shepherds require a lot of work, a lot of training, and they're exhausting. But the fact that I've been able to be home with him and implement all of the trainings we've been doing, he's a really good dog. And honestly, like when I do have human babies, there's no way I could ever leave, because if I'm this obsessed with my dog, like it'll only get worse. So my coach Chelsea always makes fun of me because I always talk about my team, and the word I always use to describe them is the fact that I'm obsessed with my team. And it's crazy because more than half of them I've met on social media. My original diamond was definitely much more of my warm market, the people that were friends and family and people that were my friends. But now, so my leaders that I'm signing up are people that I meet on social media, which is incredible. So once a month, we have monthly team meetings at my house. So anyone that's local, some people come from Chicago, Illinois, they make a 2-3 hour drive. We just hang out together on a Sunday. We all bring good food. I have my other diamond coaches leading trainings, I do trainings, and then we work out together. So it's really cool to have this community where we have 20 girls under one roof and we're not trying to bite each other's heads off. In high school, I hung out with guys more so because girls were full of drama, and that's just annoying, which we all know. So it's pretty cool to be able to be together because we're all here for the same reason. And I like to call them, just like Shalene Johnson says, like all my little lifers, whether they're older than me or younger than me. It's, we all have something that's similar together. So it's pretty cool to have that. One thing in my group that I always work on is sharing mini victories. So obviously, we can be successful with our business, with Success Club and recruiting. But I also share lots of mini victories, as in, the first time that someone sends a direct message on Instagram to a stranger, or the first time that someone sells a challenge pack. Like those little milestones are things that have been really building up my team, especially the newest coaches starting out. So when I first started in my business, I was not in it for the money. I did not talk about the money. I was more so about this being a hobby, and I loved it. And as this became my full-time income, it's like I started transitioning my words, and this is my job. This is what I show up for every day. And it's kind of crazy to see the people I'm attracting in the then and in the now, because now I'm getting these people that are go-getters that are like, I'm going to do this. And that's been crazy to see, because I kind of realized that I was limiting a lot of those people by not talking about it as this fun thing, which, that's obviously what I love to do, but it's more than just a hobby. I'm spending more than just 10 minutes a day on it. My diamond coaches are all equally obsessed with each other, and I really don't know how this happens, but like we see each other at events, and all these girls come together, and like they talk to each other all the time, even without me there. Like they're in different messages, keeping each other accountable, success partners. I don't know why they do this, but it's amazing. And one of my diamonds I got to meet last weekend came from Wisconsin, and she is a coach who I met on Instagram, and she was a success starter and diamond in like 4 months, like just this crazy girl. Okay. She's literally my other half. Like she's a crazy fur mom like me. It's just the similarities are crazy, but she came into our team and kind of like reignited our team. And a lot of my people that had been slower builders, but yet they wanted to work, they just didn't quite put in the time. They kind of saw her come in, and they're like, oh my gosh, like who is this girl? Why is this happening? Well, a lot of hard work. So just wanted to talk for a second about last year. So I've always worked with Chelsea of building my business based on income, because that is what will allow me to be at home and eventually bring my husband home. But last year, I ended the year at 1-star diamond. So I had reached 2-star, opened up my second business center, and then my diamond on my strong leg could not hold her diamond. And so I literally had 5 diamonds on my weak leg and 0 on my right leg. So the mental barriers that I went through last year and ending the year at 1 star was really hard for me. And I say this because a lot of people see coaches that are higher in rank or top coaches, top recruiters, and just think that it's always easy, that we don't struggle with things. There are so many times where we have to adjust our values or adjust our priorities to figure out like what we want with this business. And for me, holding my why so close, my why has totally changed since I've become a coach. Now it is for my future family, being able to stay home. But I had to kind of get out of this mindset where I was comparing myself and like, I need to be higher ranked, blah, blah, blah. And it was just kind of like, it brought me down for a little bit because I'm just like, I want to be elite. I want to do all this stuff. And I ended the year at 1 star diamond. But I went to the Platinum Edge. If you guys haven't gone, it is literally my favorite event that Beachbody has. Christine Dwyer puts it on. It's in Dallas this year. It is the end of September. And Christine Dwyer had talked, and she's like, okay, so if you're building for income, you don't really need to push that much for rank unless you are $500 to $1,000 away from capping. And at the end of last year, I was in that spot. And so I'm like, okay, crap, like I need to start working with someone else. And so someone on that right leg I started really working with, and that's how I got my 4-star back. And it's insane because it's like, I was focused so hard on this number and feeling like I wasn't worthy, my team wasn't good enough, and it just wasn't meant to be. Sometimes we'll have coaches, we'll have diamond coaches, which I found out that sometimes just go away. And it's nothing that you did. It's nothing that you can take personal. Same thing with when I had my first Emerald coach quit. I think I cried. And it was like completely out of left field. So like Rob Pearson had told me, he's like, Jamie, stop taking this personally. It's not you. You just have to focus on other people. So I was so focused on this one person holding, you know, that rank together, which rank doesn't define me, but my own ego, let's just say. So anyways, just know that, you know, it's a lot of hard work, but it is so worth it to just be so rooted in your why, because those days that are hard, those days that you don't feel like it and you're tired or you feel unmotivated or you're comparing or you're seeing other coaches on your team rank advance quicker. If you stay rooted in your why, you're only going to push your business forward, because that's what's going to keep you together when you feel like, oh my gosh, this is way too hard. I can't do this anymore. Okay, so branching over. So I run my business through Instagram and my Facebook like page. On Instagram, I have my new coaches create a brand as best as they can. So what is that? A brand, we'll see a lot of people, you know, doing different things, having different strategies. And what I recommend are choosing 5 things about you. So number 1 is like my given. So that is health, fitness, wellness, nutrition. That is all one. That's not 4 different things. So I see a lot of coaches, you know, they'll post meals on their Instagram, they'll post fitness advice and stuff like that. But those are the things that we all have in common. So to be able to attract this ideal coach that you want to attract, what are the things that make you unique? Are you a mom? Are you a singer? Are you an artist? Do you love nature? You know, things that make you different, that's what's going to attract your target market. I call it your avatar. So your avatar, I like to call them a name, whether it's a girl or guy. Who are you attracting to your team? So some of my coaches have a Lizzie. Some of them have a Melanie. Like, who are you attracting? Who are you writing your post to? Because, you know, it's very easy to see a lot of coaches posting selfies. We all do it. But who are we trying to reach? For me, my ideal coach isn't going to be a successful coach if they're just looking for my face in good lighting with makeup on. It's what's the things that make me unique, make me different, aside from just health and fitness, because that's what us all as coaches, 420,000 of us, have in common. So think about the things that make you you, and there's never anything that's too mundane. Don't feel like, oh gosh, that's boring, like people already know that about me. People that haven't met you have no idea, and that's what they want to get to know about you. I tell my team, no quotes. So on Instagram, I do not like pictures of quotes. To me, when people that I'm following have quotes, I unfollow, because I could go to Pinterest, I could go to Google, type in yoga quote, Great. So I see it right there. If I'm on Instagram, I want to see things that are you. And if I'm looking to sign up as a coach, I want to see you because that's who I want to sign up with. I don't want to see a quote with black or a white background with black ink. Trust me, I used to do these too. So if you're like, oh crap, I did that. I literally used to do these too. But I think of every post, is this going to attract my future posts? So something that I want to show you guys, this is how I check my own Instagram. I call it like a magazine feed. So if you go to your Instagram where you're here, I scroll up and look at my last few pictures. So that is like my magazine feed. So without being able to see Jaime Innis, I want you guys to know that by looking at any of these pictures that this is my account without you having to see my name. I want you to be like, that's a Jaime picture. That's a Jaime post. That's a Jaime picture. So as you can see, a lot of my filters are the same color scheme. I have kind of like a bold, bright kind of thing. Typically not a lot of black and white, but I don't have any like fonts, stuff like that. Some of my coaches have words on their pictures, and that's great, but you will not see a quote on my Instagram. So that is how I check myself, because there are times that, yes, I sit down and spend 30 minutes on a post with editing, creating a caption, making sure it looks good. And I realized that was not for my followers, that was for me. Or it doesn't look great. Other things I try to do, so I'm all about taking photos ahead of time and having lots and lots of stock photos. Even if that's calling a coach in your area, having your husband take a picture of you on date night when we're actually wearing makeup and saving that picture for later. As you guys can see, I have a pink shirt on right here and up here. That was the same day of the photo shoot, but they're not next to each other. So if someone's looking at this, they may not know. I'm not going to have those two pictures next to each other, because then people are going to just be like, oh, she took those on the same day. I want them to think that every day that's what I look like. Obviously, that's not what I look like when I work out. Absolutely not. My hair is on top of my head, no makeup, super greasy and gross. But for Instagram, you have to be so specific with your beautiful photos, because you have to think about it. When you're scrolling on Instagram, what attracts your eye? A beautiful picture, not a long caption with value. Even if you have the best tips known to man, nobody's going to read it if they don't like your photo. So that's why I say no quotes. Where obviously Facebook is much different. Facebook, people just want to know everything about your life. That's where I can get away with a sweaty selfie that's not perfect. That's where I can get away with random thoughts in my head that are, broken up, run-down sentences. But more so Instagram. And, some of my coaches say to me, they're like, well, I want to be real. Like, my real life is not always done up. But I asked them, I'm like, do you want to build a following? Because that's how you grow your account, is by having a beautiful Instagram. My Instagram, when I first started, was so bad. Oh my gosh. I see in my time half my old photos, and I just see like my name written all over my photos, and just, you guys, it was just bad. And so lots of practice, lots of consistency, you do get better. And you guys can always ask, your coach or your success partner or other coaches on your team, what do you guys think about my magazine feed? Do you think that these all look similar? Do you think that this is a Jaime post? Well, obviously not James, but your name. And then like with your 5 things so I just have you guys choose 5 things. Health, fitness, wellness, nutrition's all one. So you need to come up with 4 other things. I try to post about those 5 things 90% of the time. 10% of the time will be something random, maybe not so much as that, but I am now attracting my coaches based on my brand. So for me, my brand is obviously the health, fitness, etc. College graduate, newlywed / married life, Max kind of fits in there, positivity, optimism, and group fitness instructor. So you will see most of the time something to do with those 5 things. Obviously more specific, like if you're a runner, if you do marathons, half marathons, that's kind of its own thing, because that's not just in the health and fitness. I applaud all you guys that do that. I could not do that. Or I know I could mentally, but just not there. So I'm not going to, for me, I'm not going to post pictures of running, because I don't feel like I'm an expert in that. I'm not currently running. And some of my coaches will, see me doing yoga poses and kind of lifestyle, and then they'll do that. But I'm like, are you doing yoga? Like, do you teach yoga? And they say no, but I am. So that's why I include that in my brand, because that's a part of who I am. And so kind of along the lines of that, create your avatar. Like, what is her name? What does she want in life? What is her job? What is she looking for in life? What is she missing? You know, ask all these questions as if you're thinking like you're going on a date with someone. And so when you're making these posts, you want to speak directly to that person. You want that person's heart to flutter and be like, oh my gosh, she's talking about me. Oh my gosh, this is what I need to do. And, you know, I always say Instagram 1 to 4 times per day. That might sound like a lot, but definitely start at 1 and then get into posting, you know, 2 to 4 times. Whereas Facebook, we know we want to be posting a lot more than that. I probably post 5 to 7 times a day, and I started with 1 because I was scared. But now, like, you create engagement. Facebook affinity is a real thing. If you only post twice a week, probably the only people that are going to see your stuff are Brittany and your coaches. Because she's interacting with you, you're interacting with your coaches. But as far as like me or someone else outside of your network, they're probably not going to see your things because you're not consistent enough. Facebook thinks that your posts aren't important because you're not posting that often. When you're blasting your Facebook like page with tons of stuff, they are going to see that that's important, and your engagement will go up. So engagement is, you know, likes, comments, shares, any of that is considered engagement. So if you aren't posting, I tell my coaches, you aren't showing up for work. So when I worked my 4 jobs, I did not have a lunch hour where I could take a break. I was at work for 9 hours a day, and I had clients before and after. I did not have time to do this. So what did I do? I went to the bathroom and pretended I went to the bathroom like 10 times a day. And I would be in there for like 10 minutes. Sorry. And I'd bring my phone with me. That's when I would check in with my challengers. I would post. And I had to fit it in because when I got home, I was exhausted. I'm a grandma. I do not like to stay up late. And it was like dinner time, bedtime. You know, you just fit it in when you can. And that's where it really helps when you have stock photos for those times when you don't feel good or you got called into a meeting, you don't get a lunch hour anymore. So instead of saying like, well, I don't have time to take a picture, you already have stock photos saved up. Or investing in a photographer is also really great too. Totally necessary for sure. So one thing I've changed in my team culture is instead of saying, you know, you want to hit your non-negotiable of successful 5 every month, we change ours into which 3 lives will I bless this month? Which 3 new people do I get to work with? So some of my coaches had difficulties thinking of Success Club as a number, and this is not what they want to do. And so we just say, who are we going to bless with this opportunity, whether they're a challenger or they're a coach? Either way, you're going to change their life, and they're going to become a part of your inner circle, and you're going to provide some awesome accountability and support for them. Go on trips whenever you can go on Beachbody trips. Even if that's 1 a year, they will grow your business. Every trip that I come home from, I sign up a couple new coaches. I have a couple new messages of people I've never talked to, because when you go on a trip, it becomes a little bit more real. They see you posting all the time on social media, and they're like, okay, Jamie likes taking selfies of herself. Great. But then when they see me on trips with my team and with other coaches that are there, they're like, oh, well, she's in Texas right now, like for work. What? And then they kind of get a little bit more interested. And that's a business write-off. You need those, especially the further you are into this business, you need more and more write-offs. So these things help. Okay. These are like a non-negotiable to me. So for my Facebook like page, I try to keep it like an inside scoop, like into my life. Even if you're not full-time with coaching, talk about what this opportunity is going to give to you when you are able to be home with your kids or with your husband. And the more I think of it like that, it's kind of just like checking in. Like, it's like blogging. I don't have a blog, but it's like little check-ins throughout the day. Even when it's the dumbest things that I say in my head, like talking to Max, like it's just me talking to him, but I'll say little things like that, and people love that. And then they talk about their dogs, like just ways to connect, like show that you're human, show that, you know, if you had a rough day and you haven't made the bed and it's 5:00 p.m., like share little things like that. People want to know that you're human too. They don't want to always just see you, you know, perfect throughout the day with whatever you're going through. If you're at work and you're super stressed, talk about it. Talk about how you're so excited to get home and do your workout and check in with your challengers. Like, make it known that you're a health coach. Always adding value to your post. How can you share something with your following, whether that's a recipe, whether that's, you know, I think a lot of my coaches don't realize that we've been coaches for X amount of months or years, that we know all these things. We know the difference between white bread and wheat bread. We know the difference between almond milk and regular milk. Most people don't. They have no idea. So when you share little things like that, or like little substitutions that you make, people go crazy over that and they love that. And that's when they share it with their friends. And that's when they invite other people to like your page. Even if it's just a little thing on a cheap lipstick that you bought, people love that kind of stuff. What do you like when you're following people? Is it fashion? Is it makeup? Is it mom advice? Is it religious? Like what are you guys looking for? Put that into people's news feeds. What I've been doing for my new coaches, so I run, if you guys, does anyone know what the app Voxer is? It's like a walkie-talkie app. I tell my coaches they have to download it. I don't do getting started rate calls anymore because to me, they were like nails on a chalkboard and it just didn't feel like me. Like it was just like really bad. And so I decided I don't want to do those anymore. So I run a new coach mentorship via Voxer, which is like a walkie-talkie app. It's free, life-changing, literally. And for the next 30 days, they are my number one priority. So above all my messages, with all my coaches sending messages, it's always my new coach mentorship that gets me. If I have 5 minutes to check in, if I have 10, they get the message first. And basically for those 30 days, I get them started just like I would in a getting started rate call, but I tell them all the things I wish I would have known right from the get-go. What is Emerald? Success Club. Talking about Super Saturday. Talking about being on our Monday night team calls. Listening to the National Wake Up Call. What are your takeaways? Little things like that. We talk about our brand. I get them posting on 2 different social media platforms, whatever they may be. But what's really cool is that builds a little bit of cohesion as well because you have, 3 to 5 people that you're working with or however many coaches you sign up a month. And these people are feeding off of each other, which is awesome because they're all starting somewhere new. They all have the same questions. They end up really supporting each other. And my last week, I have them run a free group together. So they get an idea as to how to run a free group, build more relationships. And then they feel like a team because they're together doing this. So my last point I just want to make is when you're in this business, whether you are slow builder, whether you're in it for the support, whether you're full-on business builder, like do this for you and do this for your why. And you will be so blessed with this opportunity because this opportunity is so real. Like I wish I could just take everybody and shake them and let them know like everybody needs Beachbody. But it is literally like changing my family's life. My husband is actually going part-time May 15th. And we have like a couple more months until he's like fully home, like hopefully right after Summit, which is crazy because that was like never the plan. I, for one, never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Years before, like while we were dating, I'm like, just so you know, I never want to be a stay-at-home mom. I was like, okay. And now that's all I want to be. And he's going to be home helping me run my business. And this wouldn't have been possible if I, didn't set the excuses aside. Like we have to drop the excuses because there's always going to be someone busier than you. Consistency is key. And I know you hear every single coach say that, but it's true. It's honestly the truth, no matter what you're going through, you have to share with your following what you're going through. Because if you go away, people that have been following you for 3 years could literally be waiting to see if you drop off or if you're done with this coaching thing. And if you go away for a week or 3 days, they're going to think you did that, even if you didn't. And that's just the way that it is. And you just have to stay consistent. And yeah. It makes me feel so good. Like seriously, everybody is blessed to have done this. And you just have to think of how many more people you can bless with this.
Yeah. Love that. That's so true. And I really love that you said that. Like how many people can we bless this month? Like not even help, not even like Success Club. Like who can we bless? Because that really is what this is. And I don't know if I listened to it on a call last week or something, but they talked kind of about that same thing. Like how has this blessed your life? Like don't talk about like, come join my team. Like I want to share this blessing with you. I want to share this opportunity, how this has blessed me. And like people respond to that word in such like a more positive way. And I love like that mindset of like, don't look at this as some like pastoring somebody to join you? Like, how can you bless their life in the same way that it's been able to bless yours? I think it's also important for you guys to all take a step back and think about how this opportunity has blessed your life, big or small. And, if you haven't listened to the National Wake Up Call for Monday, I encourage you to, because she touches on that in the sense of, it's not all about your numbers. It's not all about hitting Success Club, but one of her coaches had a complete life transformation, and I think it was 2.5 years after enrolling as a coach and not being one of the go-getters, through this blessing, she's evolved into this person, and now she's able to pay it forward and be a better coach because she went through that journey of being blessed. So I love that. That was really good. Love the Voxer idea. I've never even would have thought about that. Like, take it, because Zooms are hard, you guys. Like, if you're starting your business, like, it's hard to commit to a Zoom every night and to get 3 to 5 people on one night every week. Like, you guys know that. Like, you guys know how I am. Like, it's hard. And so I like the idea of having a way to communicate, not text message, not Facebook, but hear voices and be able to check them when you can, right? Because you can go back and, like, it's still on everyone's own time. And I think that's what's cool. And then you're not logging into Facebook to get distracted by Facebook messages. So that's a really cool idea. Even if you have a small group of challengers that you want to, like, inspire, and, if you don't have a team of coaches that you're leading, if you have challengers that you're leading, like, that might be something to check out and look into. And I have to say, I have to get this personal second. Like, when you were talking in the very beginning, like, I needed to hear that. And I might cry. Jamie, I'm a crier. I think I'm pregnant, and it's even worse.
She makes criers.
But, I'm feeling it. Like, I'm feeling that stress, and I'm looking at coaches, and I'm like, I feel like I'm in the same exact spot that I was in December. And here we are at the end of April, and I'm not doing what I thought I'd be doing this so far, and I'm not. But literally, and I said it to myself, and I had it written in the text, if my why was not so big, I would not show up every day. But I want my husband home. That's why I'm so proud of Jamie and Steve, because they're going to get to have that. Like, I want Matt home so that he didn't get to see the kids today till 7, like, a whole day. And that's what, like, I couldn't have said it better. Like, you have to stay rooted in your why. And if you haven't figured your why out yet, that might be why you're struggling with your business, because there's no emotional connection there. Like, how many times do you guys see me cry when I talk about bringing Matt home? Like, every freaking time.
That's how you know it's good.
Like, and I didn't have that before. I didn't have that until the beginning of last year. And the beginning of last year is when that why came to me. I was like, I can do this. And I went elite, and I've tripled my income, and I've done all this stuff. And now I feel stuck. And that I know that if I were to look back at the numbers financially right now, like, I'm not where I was in December. But you see the shiny rank. You see the shiny, like, Success Club points. You see all this stuff. And, Jamie said it too. Like, sometimes we have to step back and reassess our priorities and what we're doing. And, like, maybe the goal that I have for my business isn't aligning with my family priorities right now. So you kind of have to step back and say, like, okay, where do I need to go? Where do my priorities need to be? Or am I not putting my business as a priority, and that's why I'm not seeing the results that I need to see? You can take that vice versa too. So if you haven't really figured out your why, and maybe it's not deep right now, but think of something that, like, would drive you. For me, when I first started, it was simply like, I wanted to make sure we had babysitter. I wanted to make sure we had babysitting money, and we could go out on a date when we had 2 little babies at home that we didn't have family for. Like, that was my why. And I wanted to be able to hire a good babysitter, not just Joe Schmo down the street, because that's what we could afford. I wanted someone that we trusted and loved, and we found her. And now I'll never let her go. She's on the call, Jamie. She's one of my diamonds.
So cool.
But, so figure out your why and stay rooted in that on the days that you don't want to show up, on the days that you don't want to add to your network, or you don't want to get on a team call. Get on the team call, because that's one step closer you are to making your why your reality. And, Jamie's, like, living proof of that right now. Like, 3 years later, she could have her husband home with her. They're both home full time. Like, And they're not even, you're my brother's age, so you're 2 years younger than me. You know, how old are you, 27?
Yeah.
Like, you guys, how crazy is that? Because she believed in herself. She believed in this opportunity, and she believed in her why, and that her why was possible. You know, and there's some of you on here that don't have kids, and you're going, well, you know, how do I do this or how do I do that? And I'm so glad that Jaime is on here, because I do have kids. So my perspective of this business has always been run with kids. And so I think it's good for you guys to see like what you can accomplish at such a young age before your family starts. And you don't ever have to have the stressful days of trying to build your business and be a new mom and you get to create your future. Like, you get to create that right now. And so you get to create your kids' future, and you get to look at your husband and say, I'm home. Like, we don't have to worry about that. Like, I can do this. And that's a gift. Like Jaime said, like, that's a blessing, you know, that you have right now. But I want to open up for questions real quick. We'll kind of give you like 5 or 6 minutes to ask Jaime any questions about Instagram. I know that I'm not a good Instagrammer. My focus this month has just been to post consistently, and I have, so I'm proud of that. And now we can take it up a notch and start building the brand and, you know, whatever. But do you guys so go ahead and unmute yourself, ask questions. I'm kind of open that up for what you guys have her.
Hey, Jaime, do you have a separate Instagram account for your personal and then one for your business, or do you keep your business?
So
or do you like mix them?
I just have my regular Instagram. So when my coaches ask me this, like, I just have @Jaime Innis, and that's what it always has been. So if you don't want to post, like, I tell my coaches, whatever your Instagram you're using, if that's one of your platforms, it has to be 100% business. So if you don't feel comfortable posting your kids or posting other things about your life, then you need to make a separate Instagram. The only downside to that is you lose all those followers that you've already gained, that you've already built. So, I mean, that's just up to you. When I like officially became a coach and went all in, I went back and deleted a lot of the posts that were drinking pictures and, you know, drunken nights in college, like that kind of stuff, because that was a lot of my news feed. And it took a while. I had to go through and do it, but I'm like, well, this is my business. Whereas my sister, she is Short Girl Fitness. She's ridiculous. But she has 15,000 followers, and she did not want to do Sammy Glonick. She created her own Instagram, but she took it up a ton because she's so particular in her brand. So like my brand is kind of more so of like sharing my life. Like it's like real time, where my sister is so much about Nike. Like she literally looks like a Nike model. So there's 2 ways that you could do that, but she did not feel comfortable doing just her Sammy Glonick. So she made a new account. But it's not typical to get 15,000 followers in, 2 years. Definitely not typical, but if you feel, it's insane. But if you don't feel comfortable opening up your other page, you just have to decide, because you have to go all in for sure.
That's awesome. I can't believe she has that many followers. Go see me.
I think for me, like, my thing isn't a question.
No, you muted, Liz.
Okay. Is it better? Am I here?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say mine's not as much a question as it is, this was so perfectly timed, because I was on the Instagram wagon. I was like getting customers off Instagram. I was teaching my coaches how to use Instagram. And then life got busy, and it was like, okay, I can push that to the side. I need to focus on Facebook, but I like doing like a post here or there. So I think it's just super helpful tips. Like, keep the post sweaty workout pictures to your Facebook, and really try and just create the following, having the pretty page. Like that is, I haven't had that perspective. So I'm excited to try and get back in it. I know I need to. So I think it's helpful. Yeah, it was super helpful.
Well, it's nice too, because for a while they didn't encourage, like it switches, algorithms switch, but for a while you could select on your Instagram, when you went to go post, you could select Facebook and link it to your like page. Well, before they said that your engagement would be down. Well, they changed it back. So like you can do that. I changed it up because I was trying to see if it was actually enough. But that's kind of nice too, because that's already a guaranteed post for both. But I've also been trying to change, like if I had the same content, like actual written part, I tried to do 2 different pictures for both platforms because it's 2 different markets.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay.
And obviously that's like taking it one step because it's more work, but I mean, it's kind of fun to see, you know, which one is getting more engagement based on the picture too.
That's really, okay. It's a good idea.
Jamie, do you have like certain hashtags that you use or things like that to attract new people too?
Yes. So you can use 30 hashtags per picture. So I always end my captions with hashtag Team Fight to Finish just for my team hashtag. Because then I can actually see a lot of my coaches' posts as opposed to missing all their stuff. And then the second comment, so like, let me just show you guys quick. So I never leave all my main hashtags with my picture. So, okay. So this is the end of one of my posts. So you can see Team Fight to Finish is in my original caption. And then I wrote as a second comment my set of hashtags. And so these set of hashtags took me probably like 2 hours. You guys probably think I have no life, but like 2 hours to find because that's what I focus on my brand. So anything with my brand, I went and searched to make sure they're actually legit hashtags. So hashtags like fitness, health, those are not good hashtags to use because that hashtag is so big that your picture will never be seen. You want your pictures to stand out. So I have positive vibes only, TIU Michigan, which is like tone it up, Fit Bride, Year of Healing, that's a yoga one, Girls with Muscle, NASM CPT, Michigan Yogi, like things that are my brand, but they're more specific. So sometimes I'll hashtag like Gaslight Village, East Grand Rapids, which is where I teach my class. Because I always check into my studio there where people can geotag. But whatever I tell my coaches, so whether it's your mom or you're a musician, so if you go to this little spot right here, you click on that, go to search, you can type in, we'll say like music and go to tags. Then you can see all the different hashtags for music. And I always choose one that's like in the middle of the amount of time. So there's like 118 million, 1 million, 6 million. So like I would choose something like, you know, with lesser. Like there's one 291. Just because that's more of an idea for people to actually see your post as opposed to something more generic. And I have a couple sets of hashtags. So like if you have an iPhone, I just leave them as a set of hashtags, like the remaining 29, into my phone. So like as a note. So then when it's time, I just copy paste. And that saves a lot of time because if I literally typed out all my hashtags, it would be such a waste of time.
Take 2 hours.
Yeah, it would take so long.
I used to do that. I used to have that. Instagram is like a different niche. It's a different thing. It's a different like.
For sure.
And I just told myself, I'm just commit to posting every day on it, and I've done really good.
Oh, girl.
So just start small, you guys. Like, don't feel like you have to like. But definitely check out Jamie's Instagram. It's at Jaime Innis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you spell that?
Yeah, I'll send it in the chat. You guys should be able to see it.
Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, just know that we all start somewhere. So my Instagram did not look at like it did 3 years ago. It was nothing like that. I also tell my coaches that like in the bio part, I created my bio and the way that it's like spaced out, that's another thing that I did in my note section. So you can literally type it out and press enter and space it out so that it looks like, for me, I just like to have that like looking good. But never put like Beachbody Coach in your bio because that's going to make people like put their hands up and run. And you want people to get to know you first, just because yes, there are some not so good coaches out there that are really salesy and icky. Luckily our teams are not like that, but there are. So you just have to make yourself that much more unique to the people that are going to be viewing you. Mm-hmm. Always have an email there that they can contact you. And then if you have a like page or a blog, that's a great spot to put your link there as well. But also when you have your profile picture for Instagram, make sure it's a headshot of some sort, because I used to have pictures where I was like flexing like in the mirror, and I learned through I don't know, maybe I was watching YouTube video or something, that people will look at that, and if they see that, they could think that kind of like you're an amateur. So just use one of your headshots, or if you don't have any headshots, have your significant other take a picture of you outside with bright, like, look nice, just you're up, smile. So that was kind of a newer tip, I guess.
I love that. Want to help me with my Instagram?
Yeah, girl.
It's not awful. It could be better. Everything could always be better though, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so I guess take it small. Like maybe if you don't have an Instagram, like start opening an Instagram and at least start posting. If you have an Instagram, like just start today or start tomorrow and start cleaning it up. Like go through your past photos, get rid of stuff that you're like, I really wouldn't want someone, like that's not going to help my business. It's not going to maybe hurt my business, but it's not going to help. Someone's not going to see them and say, oh, I want to get to know her or him. And just start figuring out like your brand. Like what do you want people to know about you? And like Jaime said, like using certain filters on every photo or multiple photos, or, you know, maybe you do videos. I know Meg does like 3 things, and she has, so if you go to her Instagram, she has 3 columns and they all look the exact same. So there's different ways. And Jaime has talked about that a lot tonight. Like figure out your brand. What do you like to see when you go to Instagram? And kind of follow that lead, because that's what your niche, your people are probably going to attract to as well. Right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you guys have anything else to ask Jaime before we hop off? No? Good. Well, thank you, Jaime. I appreciate you hopping on and sharing your words of wisdom. And I'm super excited for you and bummed I won't see you at Summit.
No.
But we'll have a new little baby next week. So I will be staying at home watching on YouTube.
I love it.
But congratulations to you. It's super exciting to see you and Steve just have the success and just to see God's blessings just pour on you guys. So
Thanks, girl.
Congrats, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Of course. If you guys have any questions, feel free to message me about anything. I'm always here.
Awesome. Good night, you guys. We'll talk to you later.